Hello to all of you watching. It's wonderful to have you here again. What I'm about to share with you today are 5 everyday practices that made a tremendous difference in how I live my life, and they did this incredibly fast, in only 7 short days. I completely understand if that sounds unbelievable at first, because I felt the same way when I first heard about ideas like this. But what makes these different is they're not just theories or things I read about. These are actual changes I made in my own daily routine, complete with all the challenges and successes that came with them. The way these improved my days was so noticeable that I couldn't wait to pass them along to others. Maybe you're looking to get more done each day, or perhaps you want to feel more positive, or possibly you're just curious about small tweaks that could make your routine smoother. Whatever your reason, these habits have the potential to help. So why don't you pause for a moment, maybe fix yourself a warm drink, find a comfortable spot, because we're going to explore each of these in detail. I'll walk you through my exact process, what actions I took, the obstacles I encountered, and most importantly, how each habit positively affected different parts of my life. What's really great is that you can begin applying these today, no special tools or purchases required. Before we get into the specifics, I want to emphasize that these are methods that truly worked for me personally. I'm not sharing abstract concepts. I actually lived through applying these changes. There were certainly moments when continuing seemed difficult when I considered going back to my old ways, but I persisted, and the benefits made all the effort worthwhile. As we go through each one, I'll include some personal examples that demonstrate how these habits helped me in actual situations you might relate to. What excites me most is knowing these could potentially help you too, no matter what your current circumstances might be. Maybe your schedule feels completely packed, or perhaps you've been feeling like you're in a rut. The beauty of these practices is their adaptability to different lives and situations. So without delaying any longer, let's jump right into exploring them together. The first habit that initiated significant change for me was adjusting when I start my day. Now, I'll be perfectly honest. Mornings and I were not on good terms before this. That alarm would sound, and my immediate reaction was to silence it and burrow deeper under the covers, repeatedly. My mornings typically consisted of frantic rushing, speeding through getting ready, often skipping breakfast entirely, flying out the door already stressed before my day properly began. But I made a decision to experiment with rising at 5 a.m. for a single week to observe what effects it might have. Those initial days were honestly quite rough. When that alarm pierced the quiet at 5 o'clock, every fiber of my being protested. I hauled myself upright, feeling like I'd barely slept, seriously questioning why I'd committed to this. But I'd made a promise to myself to give it 7 full days before judging. Then around the 4th morning, something unexpected occurred. I began noticing how remarkably tranquil everything was at that hour. No ringing phones, no honking cars outside, just serene quiet. I started using this bonus time for activities I never seemed to have time for previously, doing light stretches while listening to birds greeting the day outside, leisurely sipping tea instead of gulping it down, sometimes simply sitting quietly, observing the sky gradually brighten. One particularly memorable morning, I witnessed the most breathtaking sunrise from my window. The colors transformed from deep midnight blues to soft pinks to brilliant golds, and in that peaceful moment I felt overwhelming gratitude for being awake to experience it. That's when I understood. Rising early isn't about depriving yourself of sleep, but about gifting yourself precious moments of peace. My new morning routine took shape like this. At 5 a.m. sharp, I'd wake, no snooze button. By 5:10, I'd drink some water and spend 5 minutes gently stretching. At 5:20, I'd prepare tea and sit quietly. By 5:30, I'd jot down 3 main priorities. For the day ahead, around 5:45, I might read something uplifting or educational, and by 6:30 I'd prepare and actually enjoy a proper breakfast instead of rushing through it or skipping it. The impact this had was nothing short of remarkable. By the time most people were just beginning their days, I'd already accomplished several meaningful things. That frantic morning rush was gone. My entire day felt more structured and calm. Even my co-workers commented that I seemed more composed and focused at work. Now, I'm certainly not suggesting everyone must rise at 5 a.m. The crucial element is simply waking earlier than your norm to carve out some undisturbed personal time. Perhaps begin with just 30 minutes earlier than usual. Dedicate that time to something nourishing for yourself. Definitely not checking emails or social media. Those peaceful morning hours surprisingly became my most treasured part of each day. The second life-altering habit was incorporating daily physical movement. Okay, full disclosure. I previously avoided exercise like it was unpleasant medicine. My excuses were legendary. I'm exhausted. There's no time. I'll begin next week. But I pledge to include at least 20 minutes of movement every single day for 1 week, even if it was just walking. I started simply. Monday, a 20-minute neighborhood walk. Tuesday, following along with a home yoga video. Wednesday, dancing freely in my living room. Thursday, basic bodyweight exercises. Friday, another walk. Saturday, gentle stretching. Sunday, playing. Actively with my dog outdoors. Those first few days left my muscles protesting vehemently. Sitting down required careful planning. But around day 4, an unexpected shift occurred. I actually found myself waking up looking forward to moving. One crisp morning, I went for a jog as dawn broke. The air smelled incredibly fresh, and I felt vibrantly alive. It didn't feel like exercising in the traditional sense, but rather like celebrating what my body could do. The benefits astonished me. Sustained energy throughout my days, dramatically improved sleep at night, noticeably reduced stress and anxiety levels. I naturally stood taller with better posture. Even my complexion appeared healthier. The most significant transformation occurred in my mindset. Those 20 minutes became sacred me time, not about weight loss or punishment, but about feeling good in my own skin. Now when stress creeps in, I instinctively go for a walk rather than mindlessly scrolling through my phone. My entire relationship with physical activity transformed completely in just 1 week. The third practice that significantly improved my daily life was putting my thoughts on paper each evening. I used to assume journaling was only for professional writers or people with picture-perfect lives. But I experimented with writing for just 10 minutes before bed each night, and it surprisingly became one of my most valuable routines. Initially, I felt awkward staring at the blank page, so I began with basic prompts. What occurred today? How I'm currently feeling? What's weighing on my mind? What brought me joy? After several days, I started recognizing patterns. I'd write, I felt exhausted all afternoon, then realize I'd stayed up too late watching videos, or notice that certain interactions left me energized while others drained me. One particularly helpful exercise involved recording 3 things I handled well that day, 1 area where I could improve tomorrow, and 3 specific things I felt grateful for. This simple practice noticeably improved both my sleep quality and morning mood. Even on difficult days, identifying 3 positive aspects shifted my perspective. My notebook became like a trusted confidant, always available to listen without criticism. I recall one particularly stressful day when writing helped me recognize most of my anxiety stemmed from hypothetical future problems rather than actual current issues. Seeing this written out made it strikingly clear how much mental energy I wasted on what-if scenarios that never materialized. The 4th transformative habit involved changing how I approach meals. Previously, I'd often eat while working, watching television, or scrolling through my phone. Half the time, I barely registered what I was putting in my mouth. For 1 week, I committed to eating without any distractions. The differences were remarkable. I actually tasted and enjoyed my food more, became more attuned to when I was comfortably full rather than overeating, transformed meals into relaxing pauses rather than rushed necessities, and naturally gravitated toward healthier options. One afternoon, I ate an apple slowly, paying full attention. The crisp texture and natural sweetness were almost revelatory. I realized how much sensory pleasure I'd been missing by eating unconsciously. Now I make a conscious effort to savor my meals, which has made eating far more satisfying. The 5th and final habit that dramatically improved my daily experience was consciously reducing my screen time. When I actually measured it, I was shocked to discover I spent 4 to 5 hours daily on my phone. I established clear boundaries, no phone, for the first hour after waking or the last hour before bed, and limiting recreational use to just 1 hour during the day. The effects were profound. Rediscovering hobbies I'd neglected, significantly better sleep quality, reduced anxiety levels, more meaningful face-to-face conversations. Initially, I constantly caught myself automatically reaching for my device out of habit, but soon I didn't miss it at all. The physical world seemed richer and more engaging without constant digital interruptions. These 5 practices: rising, early daily movement, reflective writing, mindful eating, and reduced screen time, collectively transformed my daily experience in just 7 days. The secret was starting with small, manageable steps and maintaining consistency. Now I'm passing them along to you. Consider trying just 1 this week. Remember, lasting change happens through gradual, sustainable adjustments. I'd love to hear which habit resonates most with you. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to sharing more in our next time together.